Right, hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. So today we are going to be talking about my Focus RS and 5 things that I like about my Focus RS. However, it's a freezing cold day, I'm in the garage, and what I'm going to do first, I've got to clean up all this mess that I did, because on my last video I basically covered this garage in absolute rubbish everywhere. We've got the car fixed now, so I'm going to get it fired up. We're going to get the battery taken off. I'm going to take it outside, hopefully give it a little bit of a clean because it's a bit messy. And then I'll just take you through 5 things that I like about my Focus RS. Right, so obviously when you've got one of these sort of cars and you've got a decent exhaust system, the first thing that you enjoy on it is a cold start. I'm not going to include that in my list. That's a bit of a freebie for everyone there. So I'm just going to start the car now and show you what it sounds like from a cold start. Pretty average. Just for the record, this painting's not going into the garage. It's actually going to be thrown. Actually, I might do that now. Right, ready for the cold start? So we've pulled the car out of the garage now, and I am happy to report that down here we don't have any oil leaks from what I can see. I think this is obviously all the crust from what happened before. Obviously I'll sweep all this up, get all this cleaned up. That's the mess that I've made. So yeah, I think the repair has solved that issue, but I'm sure there'll be more issues anyway. But there she is. I'm going to leave her out there for a bit, get her cleaned up, and then I'm going to do a video on 5 things that I like about the Focus RS. Before we started this video, basically I had to give the car a wash because it was absolutely filth from being in the garage for so long, just covered in snail juice and all sorts of weird sort of things. I have also, as you can see here, I've tidied up the mess that was in this garage. It's still not 100%, but whatever, we don't care. So now the car's been cleaned, let's get onto my 5 things that I like or love about this Focus RS. First on the list, number 1 is going to be purely and simply the look of this car. Now I think these cars look absolutely fantastic. So the RS Mk1 was based on the 1999 Ford World Rally car. It was engineered by a joint of mainstream Ford engineers and tuning experts from Tickford Engineering. From the Sparco bucket seats to the lightweight 18-inch OZ racing alloys, or Oz, however you want to say them, Ford spared no expense on these. From my understanding as well, they sold all of these at a loss. So 20 years later, and I still think this car looks amazing. The styling still looks up to date, the body lines are perfect, the wide arches make it look more aggressive on the road, and I've always liked the Mk1 Focus as a whole anyway. Now obviously I've made a few changes on this car with some carbon parts on it that are actually real carbon, not been dipped. You've got these RL7 Compomotive red wheels. I did have this car stripped out at one point with bucket seats, but I've put everything back to standard now as becoming a bit more of a family car. And I've also updated the steering wheel on the car, as the original is not the nicest, but you know, it's not sort of too bad. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I've just said. You can see here the styling of these cars. I just think it looks fantastic. You know, it looks so aggressive on the road. It's got a good presence, and everyone knows that this is the RS. You know, you've got those lines on the bonnet there that sort of swoop down into the middle. I mean, I just think overall these cars just look fantastic. Again, with the red wheels, obviously a bit leery, but we'll get them changed at one point. But this car, I think, just looks so aggressive on the road. The styling, I think, on the front of the car here, they've spent a lot of money engineering this part. Then as you get to the rear of the car, I'll show you, it kind of seems like Ford ran out of money, or the design team got bored, because apart from the badge here and obviously the Focus badge here, it kind of just looks like a normal Focus really. The diffuser at the back here, I've actually painted this black myself just to sort of make it stand out a little bit. However, apart from like the arches at the back here, it just sort of looks like they've sort of run out of money and designed more at the front. If I take you inside, again, you've got your Sparco seats like I was talking about here. These are actually quite comfortable. They're not the best, and like when they get old they bobble a lot here, but that's fine. You have to ignore the mould in the car as well, because as you can see there where it's been left in the garage, not great for your car, to be honest, if you've got a garage that seems to have condensation. You can see here, obviously I've added a few bits in. I've added an oil pressure gauge which I need to plumb in. I've got an actual boost gauge here. You do get one with the car originally. Yeah, you can kind of see the styling of these cars, I think, still and up to date. Okay, so on to the second thing that I like about the Focus RS, and that's the drivability of it. Now this thing around the track, that's where its home is at. These things are like on rails. It's like a train on a train track. It holds. Obviously they do have their limits, as I found out one day at Brands Hatch. So I was coming around Surtees corner and someone had actually spilled power steering fluid on there, and I come spinning off twice off the track and then basically onto the Armco, onto the grass. pooed my pants just a little bit, and then come back on and then came back into the pits. Now it didn't faze me at all. I basically gave it another 20 minutes, checked the car over, went back out, and like I say, on the track these things are brilliant. Also they're little pocket rockets, you know. It's a Mk1 Focus with a 2-litre turbo, 212 horsepower from standard, and I've upgraded mine to around about 300, even though the last Rolling Road was 260 horsepower, but we had problems. But yeah, as a whole, these cars are just fantastic to drive, so much fun, little go-karts. I mean, the Fiesta I've got is brilliant, but I mean, this just outweighs it massively. Okay, so on to number 3. Now, this is a bit of a random one, but they only made 4,500 of these cars. So with the Mk1, it's 4,500. I don't know how many they made of the Mk2, and I don't know how many made of the Mk3, but I know that the Mk1 is obviously becoming rarer and rarer these days. So with quite a lot being written off, and obviously being 20 years old, some are being scrapped, some are being rusted to pieces, probably like this one, to be honest, but it needs a bit of work. Yeah, so with 4,500 made, and probably only around about 2,500 left on the UK roads at least, these are a massive head turner. So it's so nice to drive one of these and people know what they are and sort of come and talk to you. I get people at shows sometimes, they come and speak to me, you know, want to know about the car, how long I've had it, etc. It doesn't seem to be doing that well on YouTube for some reason. I think a lot of my subscribers are Fiesta fans, which is fine, so not a lot of Focus people have come over just yet. But yeah, it's just such a good car to have, you know, just a head turner, talking point when you go to shows and meets, and obviously when you see another one you get the old "oh friend," so you always do a thumbs up to other Focus RS drivers. Right, so on to number 4. I'm going to take you to the bonnet of the car. So number 4, with these cars, they are really good at being modified. I know this is another random sort of thing, but it's obviously one good thing about this car. With the Fiesta, for example, you can't really do much and get a lot of horsepower out of it, whereas one of these with the turbo, 2-litre turbo, you can do quite a bit to the car, I would say, that gets it, you know. I've seen some of these that are 500 horsepower, albeit that the gearboxes tend to blow up and obviously they throw rods and stuff. So this is the standard engine, nothing's been done to it internally, and the first thing I did was get a Dream Science unit. Now the Dream Science you add to the car, these days they've got about 6 different modes that you can do. I've only got 3. I've got race, race plus, and then like normal mode, so mine's always on race plus, and that incorporated with a downpipe and this manifold gave me, I don't know, probably about 20 horsepower or something like that. So nothing major, but with these cars, like I say, they're so easy to be modified. I've taken out the standard water cooler and I've replaced it with an air-cooled intercooler. So this was actually made by one of my friends. I think you should be able to see it just sort of here. This is actually made by one of my friends, and he's adapted all the pipe work, so it comes up here, round there into the throttle body, just up here, and that plus the air filter. So I've got a larger air filter. This normally has an air box sort of sitting around here, but I've changed it to the K&N air filter here. It's quite a big one. Then obviously got this to protect it from all like leaves and stuff, because it's quite close to the ground, as you can see. So we've got here GT28 hybrid turbo with a spun housing, so that, I can't remember what it is now, but you spin the housing round, so you can see there it's been marked. Spin the housing around so it fits better. Got the actuator, standard actuator on there. Got a JEK 4-into-1 manifold for this. Apart from that, I mean, there's loads that you can do to these cars, but as a sort of generic sort of makeover and tidy up and get the car going faster, basically there are a couple of mods that you can do. Right, and last but not least, let's talk about point number 5 that I like about this car. Finally in my life I've actually made a good investment decision and bought one of these cars. Now 18 years ago when I bought this car, I can't remember how much I paid for it, it wasn't a lot. However, these are now all going up in value, which is obviously great for me. Now, I plan on keeping this car for as long as possible. I'm obviously getting a bit older now than most people would think, and it's something that I'm sort of treating as an investment now. So probably in about 10 years time, when my boys are like sort of looking to start driving, I'll probably look at selling this car, hopefully make a bit of money on my original investment, and then I can put that towards, you know, driving lessons for them. I was going to give my youngest boy the car when he was 18. However, that's not for about 15, 16 years time before he would be driving it, and I don't think giving an 18-year-old this car as his first car is a good idea. And also there'd be no parts left for it, because you can't find parts now anywhere for this car, and if you do, everything's £1,000. You know what I mean? If you're getting new lights, they're £1,000. If you want new arch liners, they're probably about £1,000. If you want new mats, floor mats, they're being sold now for, I've seen, £500–600. So I don't have any real spare parts in the garage here for the car, so anything that I do need is just going to cost quite a bit of money, and in 18 years time when he's driving, Yeah, it might even be even worse. So there it is, my 5 things that I like about my Focus RS Mk1. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, consider giving it a subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments what car you're driving. If you own one of these as well, let me know in the comments what you like about the car, anything I've missed, because everyone's obviously got different opinions about different things on different cars. Next video for the channel is going to be 5 things that I hate about this car. Now again, it's really hard to sort of choose 5 things that I hate because I love the car so much. However, I'm sure I can find 5 things that I dislike about this car. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.